the Ed Lover Show on Power 105.1. Roy Jones Jr. is in the building with us, y'all. Roy, April 3rd, Mandalay Bay, HBO pay-per-view. Him and B-Hop, Bernard Hopkins, finally are going to get it in the ring. Finally. It's the second time. Now, the first time you beat him, right?
With one hand.
You had broken your other hand.
Yep, beat him with one hand, basically. The other hand was no good.
Well, how do you keep fighting with a broken hand?
You got to have a lot of determination to keep fighting, period.
Right.
People go through a lot of things, but I love life. God's been great to me, and he's been terrific to me. So if if I can have one hand and go in the ring, I feel like I still can beat anybody.
Wow. Now, a lot of people accuse Bernard Hopkins of being a dirty fighter.
He's a very dirty fighter. They're not just accusing him. It's go look at the fights.
Well, that kills the question. What do you think?
What was your question, baby?
Well, no, I wanted to talk family for a second because you have sons, right? Mm-hmm. Do you mind them seeing you fight, and would you want them to follow in your footsteps?
Don't want them to follow my footsteps. However, I don't mind them watching me fight, but I don't want them following my footsteps.
Why not?
Well, I don't want my sons to have to make themselves susceptible to the things that happens in boxing. Boxing is not a beautiful sport, and it takes a lot of years off your life if you're not careful. So I don't want them to subject themselves to something like that when they can make money a lot easier ways.
Also, now, do you still have fighting chickens, especially in light of the whole Michael Vick situation?
No, I don't. I don't have them. I have a few for pets, but you can't fight them no more. So I don't have them like I used to have.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Smart.
I used to. I got some just for a couple of pets, but you can't have them like that no more because they'll come charge you for a felony and put you in jail, as you know. So I had to let it go.
Yeah.
Wow. Musically, you still doing the music thing?
My son's still doing that thing. I'm not doing that much right now, but my sons are still working 3D. They still doing that. They still at it hard, actually. So, yeah.
Right.
What do you think of women's boxing?
I like women boxing for the simple fact that it gives them somebody else to beat up on besides men.
Wow.
But I don't like it because I don't feel like that's the place for a woman, to be honest.
Really?
I don't feel like women should be defending territory. I mean, when you look at the things that God created in this earth, you see a lot of situations where the male animals fight for territory, but you don't see the women fight for territory. So why should women be fighting? And people always try to make this religious thing so hard and so controversial or so complex when it's not really that controversial. If you just look at the things God created, that's His work too. Just read those things.
Okay. So when it's all said and done and your career ends, how do you want to be remembered?
As the dude who fought them all. He didn't care if you brought it, he fought it.
You bought it and he fought it. I like that. Roy, do you ever see yourself training anybody else?
Yeah, it's possible. I train some guys every now and then now, and I really enjoy training guys when they listen and they work hard. I got a guy up in Pittsburgh right now by the name of Rod Sucker. He's a little white kid, about 10 and 0. He's a really good fighter, very interesting. And I like a guy like him because he's so determined. And when you see a guy that's that determined, it reminds me of the young me. People like that I can deal with.
What made you decide, I want to get into the ring and box professionally for a living? This is what I'm going to do.
Well, when I started, I really had the intentions of going to the Olympics.
Okay.
But I saw Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier fight. What I saw was that Muhammad Ali was beating Joe Frazier mainly with his mind. Mm-hmm. And I felt like if anybody taught me how to throw my hands, I can beat anybody with my mind.
Mm.
And that's why I started.
You've been doing it for so long. How long has your career spanned up to this point?
Right now, it's been 31 years.
Of straight being a boxer?
Straight being a fighter.
Now, you abstain from sex when you're in training camp?
Yeah, you do. For a little while.
What advice would you have for mothers out there? We're talking to Roy Jones Jr., whose sons want to get into boxing.
That's a great thing to put them in, especially if there's no father around or if you want to get them disciplined. There's a great place to start them at because, see, with boxing, first of all, you learn to face your fears straight up. You don't learn to go get behind 5 or 6 guys and y'all go together and fight somebody. No, you learn to go one-on-one, man-to-man, and face it. That teaches you a new respect for your opponent and for yourself. So it's a great thing for a kid to get involved with because as far as discipline goes, he'll learn how to win, he'll learn how to lose, and you'll learn how to accept those two things. And that's what's hard for kids nowadays. When kids lose a fight nowadays, they run home, get a gun, and come back and look and shoot somebody.
Right.
They can't accept a win or a loss. To win, you got to be willing to lose, and that's what people don't understand.
Absolutely. April 3rd at Mandalay Bay, HBO pay-per-view. Roy Jones Jr. against Bernard Hopkins. How's this one going to turn out, Roy?
Just like the last one, except this time it's a 10% upside for the guy who can win by KO. So I think this time he got to go.
He got to go.
He got to go. I don't see myself going 12. I think this time he got to go.
I'm quite sure, knowing me and knowing how long I've known him and knowing how long I've known Bernard Hopkins, we will be hearing from Bernard Hopkins about this fight. All right, April 3rd, Mandalay Bay, HBO pay-per-view. Best of luck to you, bro.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate
Looking
you
forward
always
to
stopping
it.
by and seeing us,
Peace.
too.
Shout out to Hodge, Rip, and everybody in New York that always support Roy Jones Jr.
All right, it's the Ed Lover Show. It's Power 105.1.